It's a beautiful day in Red Ridge Mountains as we welcome you to the second day of the LevelMania challenge. I am your host Camixs, and today we'll be picking up from the first day's aftermath. If you don't know about the challenge and its rules, there will be a card up above for people to link off to that explains everything. We highly recommend looking at that first, as everything else will make sense if you do. We also have a series linked to this show known as the Triple Tier Talks, where we go into an in-depth analysis of the runs of each character split into 3 previous tiers and talks. We try to give out summaries of the previous day for specific characters, their stats, and our predictions for them in the future. So if that's something you're interested in, you can find that in the next link after this one. As for predictions, today we'll be taking a look at an average level of 2.9. We figured that since 3 levels weren't quite met, that we'd pull down in favor of catering to those having a rough start out of the gates. But we didn't quite go so low due to the fact that we still believe that people will make a heavy push in the early stages. There is enough time for them to make such a qualifying run, so let's not give them all that in a difficult jar right there. But it's just as well, you can see on screen that Stalwrath, the current leader of the challenge, is running through Stormwind towards everyone's favorite gnome, Chromie. Now, a challenger is allowed to do this if they hit level 10 or higher in the LevelMania challenge. They may choose a new zone to go through if they so choose. The only restriction is that other people are unable to follow them in this exact path of fire that one has chosen. So for example, if Stalwrath chooses to go to Pandoria, then no one else can follow in those footsteps due to conflicting interest of 2 characters interacting with one another on screen. But if someone else decides to go to Northrend, then they can do that just fine. There'll be no problems with that. But with that, we've pretty much wrapped up our introduction. The chips are down, and the players are ready to go ahead and get this started on the second day. So with all the nuances out of the way, the introduction is ready, and all the time that we have in the world to see what they can do, let's have Nefarian take us away.
Let the games begin.
And the challengers are set, and they have our roll started, and it seems that Stalwrath is already out. Mylang as well. 2 of them already gone. That's going to be a really hard hit for Stalwrath, especially if anybody is able to surpass him. You see, if he gets the shock hit on him, it's going to be unfortunate. He's going to have a real tough time, especially since Vano seems to still be on screen and Nara's still on screen. Mirianda not far behind, although she has about 3 levels onto the 3rd and 2nd place respectively. It looks like Vano may have a chance to actually surpass here, and if he does, then Stalwrath is already out. So that's going to be a very small boon towards Vano. You know, he's going to be able to take the leadership on early, potentially here. We're not too sure yet. It's not confirmed. There's still a chance that things may switch around, but as it stands, Vano has a good chance to basically take the lead in this early on stage, and he'll have a little bit of a decent stretch between him and Anara. Unlike Stalwrath and Vano, there wasn't just 1 level there was actually 3 split apart. So this is going to be one of those situations where you're going to really find that Vano has an opportunity to actually break a lead and break it wide open. So we'll see how he ends up turning out here, but there's still 8 people on screen, 8 of them taking charge and fighting one another. We're gonna you know, look back and forth, see what kind of levels they end up getting out of this, and you know, as we saw, we have a different little perspective here. We're actually gonna give split screens based off of their leveling. So if somebody is about to level, then you'll likely see that they're doing something on screen that kind of projects that sort of leveling. But as it stands, nobody is doing anything interesting just yet, at least in terms of actually getting a level. Oh wait, there it is. Gruul's Tack right there, getting himself really close. Let's see if he's actually able to continue pulling it off. He gets the level 4 right there, and it doesn't seem like he has to roll. It looks like he got the safe and sorry roll early on. So he's still safe. He's still able to move on. So there we go. We have our first marker right there, Gruul's Tack, getting himself from level 3 to level 4. A few other people still trying to move up and get a few levels. You can see the experience bars in different areas here. It looks like actually Malborn quick to get himself up to level 5 right here. Is he going to need to roll again? We'll see in a second. Oh, he stops right there, and he goes ahead and gets it, and there it is. 4 out of 5. He's safe to keep on moving. So 1 more there, and Groltal also getting himself on screen, getting ready to go here. Oh, we have 2. It looks like Groltal going ahead and getting safe right there, and Longhail also getting himself a roll, and it is safe for him. He gets a max roll right there. Gets 2 more levels. It's guaranteed to level 7. So we're going to definitely see that Longhail is going to get a little bit of a jump here. We're not sure how much rule stack actually got here, but we'll probably be able to look at that soon enough. But currently 3 people have leveled on screen at this moment. We're still waiting for 4. Actually, it's 4 right now. We're still waiting on a few other people to get themselves the opportunity to move forwards in the challenge. It looks like Anara, if you can see on screen up there to the top left, she's actually really close to getting another level here. I don't know what's actually holding her back here. But I'm sure we'll probably see something here in a minute to kind of give the representation of the level that she's going to get. Maybe somewhere soon. It seems like she's just taking her sweet time. But it looks like everybody so far pretty stagnant. It's not like, you know, everybody's really pushing far ahead. You know, Vano hasn't really been able to level just yet. He's having to do a lot of expansive moving around the screen. If you actually take a look, Gilneas' landmass is huge. It's when you get to a certain point. Oh, look, Grulstack getting another level right here. It seems like he's about to go ahead and get it in. And level 5 again, doesn't look like he's having to roll, so it seems like for now he's still safe. That's good for him. He's able to actually get himself out of the gate, unlike that bad start he had earlier. And Anara finally getting herself that level right there. It seems like first she's gonna have to learn how to do the furball language. There we go, we get that, and we're gonna see the roll, and she is out. That's gonna be unfortunate for her. She's definitely now going to be a little bit more behind in terms of, you know, trying to keep up with Vano, but she's still in a very good position, so it's not something I would be too concerned about for sure. You've got a few other people still doing things, moving around parts that can be seen and unseen in certain locations, but either way, looks like Malborn's about to go ahead and get himself another level right here. Let's see if he's able to stay on the course, and he is able to do so. In fact, he gets a max roll right here, Fortuitous, and 4 levels out of that, so he is guaranteed up to level 10. That's going to be a really good boon for Malborn. He might actually be able to hit 2nd place here, assuming that everybody else falls off behind. That's probably the best you can ask for, really. I mean, you could have probably asked for a level 11 guarantee, but this is really good. It actually sets yourself up towards getting into the top tier. This is what you want as a character, to be able to get that fortress roll early on and move yourself forwards. Maybe not into the leader spot, for definitely to, you know, at least be 2nd, 3rd place right now would be a really good spot to be. And it seems like Mirienda is also about to get herself another level. Longhail's about to get himself another level. We've got a few people fixing to move into different positions to level up. Just a question of how much can they get in this one sitting. Right now it seems like you know, Longhail is guaranteed at least two levels right now. Malborn's guaranteed at least 4. We don't know how many Grulstack is, and here it is right here. Mirienda's about to go ahead and get herself a roll. We don't know if she's been guaranteed it not. It looks like she has not. Yep, she has been. Okay, she's still safe to go. All right, so she gets a. Oh no, there's the roll right there. All right, and from what it looks like, it's a 3. So she's still safe. She's still good to go. Longhail going ahead and switching himself up, getting ready for another level right there. And yep, that's another pressure right there for him. He's still safe for the time being. He's got at least 1 more level. He's guaranteed level 7, and it looks like Kazakh is also about to go ahead and get another level right here for himself. Actually hasn't seen too much out of him in the beginning here, but it looks like he gets to level 5. And Vano now switching over for him as well. Wow, a lot of people getting a level on here early on. Or not quite early on, actually a little bit later, but either way, here it is. And Vano unfortunately finds himself out of the competition. So this is a little bit of an interesting one. Stalwrath being safe from Vano for the time being, not having to worry about him taking over the position. As the rules state, whoever was, you know, there first, therefore takes that first spot. So for him, Stalwrath might find himself in a very lucky position, assuming that nobody else is able to take it. Inara is out. Currently, Vano is out. But the interesting thing we need to take a look at here right now is that Malborn has guaranteed himself a few levels. He is guaranteed up to level 10, which means that he is able to possibly put himself in a good position here to maybe sit on top of the leaders as well. And you've got 2 here right now ready to level. The Gultal on the right over here getting level 5, and it looks like he's still safe, ready to go. And it looks like Kazakh's also getting another level right here, getting himself to level 6. Very good job from the both of them, able to, you know, keep on pressing, push, and movements. It's all sorts of different kind of things still going on. 6 competitors still going on here. We're about, I'd say, 10 minutes into the challenge. That's really surprising, you see, because based off what we had last time, we didn't have nearly this many people. We had quite a few drop off after around level 4, Instead, a lot of people are getting 2 levels, 3 levels. This is kind of where we were expecting our predictions to be. You know, the lower levels was not somewhere we were thinking a lot of people were going to be stuck in. That's just not how this works. Exception to my lane, everybody else has moved up at least to level 5, level 6, and of course some of them are now guaranteed to even move up to level 10 currently. So this is something that we were kind of expecting on the first day. Instead, we're seeing it now. And, you know, that could be a good thing. It could kind of squish the levels, make it a little bit more of a contest. We don't have just one guy pushing all the way forwards like Stallwrath did. We could just see several different people moving up in this category. But we're going to see here soon a few other people still trying to get themselves the levels that they need in order to properly move forwards. Currently, nobody said, oh, wait, nope, rules tack, here we go, right about here, getting himself a level right there. And let's see if he has to roll at all. I'm trying to see if he can find out anything along those lines. It looks like no, he is still moving forward. So supposedly, I guess he's still fine. You know, I guess he got that fortress roll and had got a really big one out of it as well. We're gonna see how far he ends up going, but for sure he's got a lot of advantage going into this challenge. And you can see up there at the top right, Malborn getting like 4 or 5 different things, mobbing and just, you know, dotting them all down, knocking it down that way. It's going to be really powerful for someone like Malborn, someone like Longhail, who have dots, in order to really push into the early stages of this challenge, because there's a lot of things you can do with those. You can essentially buff yourself up and just fire. Go into every different way, fire off all the corruption, fire off all the shadow word pains, shadow word death, and really take less time to level. That's the big key here, is that it is kind of based off a little bit of a fortress roll situation, but you also want to make sure that you have speed on your side, and currently he does. Malborn is sitting in the 3rd place spot on the screen at this moment, of course followed by Longhail, and then Marienda sitting up here first, although she seems like she's having a little bit of difficulty leveling right now. We've seen Malborn getting close to yet another level right here. We're seeing that Camixs is actually getting pretty close here at the bottom. Yeah, at the bottom left here, he seems like he's going to be moving in just a little bit closer. He's not, you know, quite there yet, but he's getting there. He's got a couple of quests he probably needs to complete here. And another thing, too, is that Groltall, looking at him at the bottom here, he also seems to have a really close level. So we're going to probably see, like we did a little bit earlier, a few select chains of leveling where a lot of people are going to be moving forwards and getting themselves an opportunity to move up one more level. Of course, Rules Tack, not quite in that section, I don't think. We can't actually see his experience bar, so we'll see in a moment. But Groltall, of course, was one of the ones that we were talking about here in a second. So he manages to get to level 6, and let's see if he actually needs to roll. It doesn't look like he does, so he and Rules Tack both seem to have gotten a little bit of a lucky streak here, being able to actually push forward more than they were probably anticipating. They had a rough start out of the gate too, so, you know, congratulations to them to be able to actually do that, and that's something that, you know, is really good for them to be able to move forward in this challenge. So yeah, you know, congratulations to them, good job. And we got a few other things getting ready to go here. Marienda about to level up here, she's about 1 bar away. Malborn got to get another level right here shortly. We're likely to see a couple of screens here change up. We'll see up there it is right there, Malborn getting himself in order. About to go ahead and get that there. We know he's not going to need to roll. Looks like, oh, it wasn't Marienda, it was Gruel's Tag. Gruel's Tag now getting himself up, and Camixs throwing himself on screen as well. Multiple people getting levels here right now. Gruel's Tag staying on steady. Camixs getting himself that roll, and let's see what he gets. He's at level 5, so he's secure. He's able to get yet another one right here. So he goes from level 7 to level 8 at least for the guarantee. And so, you know, quite a few, like I said, quite a few movements up. We've got a few people moving up at least 4 levels, 5 levels. This is what we were expecting again on day 1, but instead we kind of got a rough start. But a lot of people are now going to put themselves in contention for the top tier and maybe even leadership, depending on how they really push forward. You know, like I said, Malborn's guaranteed at least level 10. A few other people are, of course, moving themselves slowly but surely into different spots. So we might see a leader change here, and that's very well possible. It's early on. The, you know, the leaders of the reign right now, you know, which is the top 3, which is Inara, Vano, and Stallwrath, all 3 pretty much vanquished early on. They were gone. So it's anybody's game. Here we go. Marienda about to go ahead and get herself another level right here too. Level 7, safe to go. And it looks like she's seemingly about to Let's see what she gets. Oh, there it is. There goes the roll. All right, she gets a 1 out of 7, so it seems like she is definitely out of the competition. But that's another one of those top people. That was one of those people who are up there at the top. So there she goes. You know, now you've got all the people who are in the middle tier and the bottom tier. This is what we were kind of expecting things to, you know, kind of shift around a little bit. And here we go. Longhail's about to go ahead and get himself a level as well here. It looks like he's about to complete a quest, get himself ready, and he was guaranteed 1 level here, but let's see if he's able to guarantee another level. And no, he's not. He also gets a 1 out of 7, so that's going to go ahead and knock it down to only 4 competitors left. That's going to be good for them. They're going to be able to move up into the tiers and really find their footing. You know, like I said, Malborn's guaranteed at least the top tier, and Camixs, you know, Groltal and Grulstak, we don't know what exactly their guarantees are just yet. We haven't been able to see their fortress rolls, mostly because it was all at the beginning, but we do know that they have at least 1 more level underneath their belt. So this is going to be one of those situations where everybody's sitting right next to each other. It's just a matter of, okay, who can get to what level first, and what's the fortress roll going to look like. Groltal getting himself to level 7 right here, and it doesn't look like, again, he's really needing to roll, so he's safe to get up there. Now, of course, with that being noted, that meant that he probably got the max roll, which is 5. So he's going to have to roll at level 8, which is going to be one of those situations where, you know, if he was able to get that max roll, that means that we're going to definitely see him have to, you know, move forward. He's not going to be able to just keep doing this whole, you know, he doesn't have to roll, he's safe kind of deal. It's going to be, he now has to actually fight for the contention. It's not like Malborn where he's guaranteed level 10 right now. Like, he's losing his guarantees, and so now he's going to have to do something else in order to cap himself back up to make sure he stays in this competition. But like I said, the bottom 2 especially have been able to get a lot of stuff going on here, and this is, again, what we were looking at. We thought that, you know, it's only day 1, nobody's quite out of it just yet, and here we go. We've got our people at the bottom tier, all 3 of them still standing here, and then of course we have one from the middle tier, Malborn, sitting and leading the pack just by a little bit though. He's not quite the front runner. He's, you know, he's not moving all the way forwards in terms of just, you know, the sheer amount of levels being broken from him. He's just kind of a little bit ahead, and you know, that's good. That means we've got a competition here. We don't have to worry about possibly losing out on something that is the equivalent of just watching one person move forward the whole time. You know, we had that happen yesterday. Well, not yesterday, but we had it happen with Stallwrath on day 1. And this was one of those situations where we were kind of worried that, you know, that might be a repeat interesting thing that would happen. And right now, it doesn't seem like it. We're going to have everybody cluster kind of back up and on here on day 2, and it's going to be once more closer to a competition than it was with the first day. A couple people still trying to get themselves a few levels here. It looks like nobody is quite ready to level up just yet, although it looks like Camixs, probably the closest one that we see here. He is about 4 bars away. Currently we have Groltal being about 6 bars away. Looks like Malborn's about 7. And we can't actually see Grulstak's bar for some reason. It seems like the camera may be just a little bit too low for him, something that we may have to get fixed a little bit later on. But all the same, when we see a level out of him, we will find a camera in order to make sure that happens. And it looks like Camixs is about to go ahead and knock down a building right here. But yes, we've got quite a few movements in play here. You know, people are still pushing themselves, finding different ways to speed up the challenge as quick as possible. As you can see, a lot of people are actually using their chauffeur mounts, which is something that, you know, we kind of said was allowed. It's not like that was something that was against the rules. So yeah, there you go. And here we are right now. Camixs getting himself to level 8. Let's see what he's able to do, if he's able to stay on the challenge roll. And there it is right there, 6 it. He gets a 6, so he's again still guaranteed to get up to 9, which means he's able to again to potentially move from the bottom tier to the top tier. That's something that, you know, will really help him later on. If he's able to at least stay in contention with the competition, he's in a much better situation. You know, he's about to get off of Kazan here, so it looks like he's wrapping up in that section. Malborn already getting out of the starting point. He's been out of there for a little while. Groltal pretty much also on that, out of that starting zone point, and Grulstak about to leave. Taking a little bit of time there, but I guess the troll starting zone's a little bit longer, as well as the, you know, those newer cataclysm zones tend to be a little bit longer storylines than the regular original zones, such as Death Kneel and the Durotar Valley of Trials. So that's something you have to take into account here. But all the same, they're all still sitting on top of the levels here, because Zax is actually currently leading the pack a little bit here, currently sitting at level 8, whereas Malborn, Groltal, and Gruul's Tag kind of sitting a little bit behind. Actually, Groltal I think is actually level 8, I believe. I haven't been able to quite take a look at it. His screen's a little bit black, but here we go. Gruul's Tag actually about to hit level 8 right here. Let's see if he's needing to roll or do anything on the sorts. And he gets the roll. Yes, he does. He gets it 5 out of 8 right there. So he's able to get himself up to level 9. He's guaranteed that spot as well. So again, we're seeing a lot of people move forwards in this competition, and that's going to be a really good situation for both of them. It's something that you really want early on here. Don't take the lead, of course. I don't recommend that in my overall analysis on this one, but definitely get yourself up there. You have a few more levels to play with them. By all means, get themselves as much as they can early on here, so that way the competition is not as difficult, to say the least. But you got a few other people here. It looks like Malborn's about to get himself another level here shortly. Same thing with Groltal. To a couple of them still doing quests to get themselves back up to. We get another level here. It looks like Groltal's getting himself a little bit of a strategy here in Venom right there, getting one down. Very good job. And we're just kind of waiting for somebody else to go ahead and get that next level in. It seems like everybody right now is at the standpoint. They're still trying to get themselves that levels. There's the quest that they need to get done. But we've got a couple people getting really close here, and we're gonna probably see a couple of split screens up here soon. One or two of them being guaranteed levels. Groltal, one of the interesting ones about him not being quite set up there to do so, but he definitely has a chance to really move forward and keep the challenge going. And honestly, we're kind of hoping that he's able to do so, because we kind of want everything to be closed, tight clenched. And even to exceed some expectations would probably be a really good thing here early on, so that way again we have more of a competition than we did previously. So that's something we're gonna have to take into account here soon. And it looks like again these two are taking a moment. They're not quite getting that level just yet, but it definitely is looking like somebody is going to be leveling here real soon. So we're going to be keeping an eye out on those two. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kazakh's Gruul's Tag just leveled up recently here, so we're not quite expecting them to move forwards in the whole competition, but we are expecting them to keep going. Really, it's one of those speed level things. Here it is right there. Malborn getting himself up to level 8. He's of course guaranteed up to level 10 actually, so he's fine. He's good to keep going. He's good right now, and yeah, there's nothing else to really say about that. Other than that, we've got of course Gruul's Tag getting himself the couple of leapers there. Actually gets a friend right there. Look at that, back and forth dancing, having to sit there and wait on essentially. Oh, yeah, there it is right there. Yeah, that's kind of what we were expecting. Up, and then we have this cut off for that for Groltal. Looking like he's about to get a level here. There he is. Is he safe for another one? Yes, he is. Oh, and he gets the bonus roll right here. Unfortunately, it's only one level, so he only gets up to level 9 on that, but really close to get himself a little bit more of an advantage here. Only guaranteed one level, but that's okay. That's better than nothing. So that's really good for him to be able to get from level 3 to level 9 currently. And that's good. That's something you have to take into account too. A few of these guys, level 3, level 4, now moving up to like level 9, level 10. Of course, Malborn right now is guaranteed 6 levels. Just to keep that into perspective here, Kazakh's currently going from 4 to 8, so that's going to give him at least 4 levels. He's a guaranteed level 9, so he gets at least 5 right now. Groltal, of course, going from level 3 to level 9, so that's 6 levels for him as well. And then Gruul's Tag right now, I believe, also setting himself up for level 9, so that's going to be 6 levels from him as well. That's a lot. That's double what we were really expecting from any of these people, and yet here they are sitting here, and Kazakh's about to get one more level out of this. Let's see if he's able to stay into this competition right here, number 9, and he is not. He's out. So that's going to knock him out of the competition of the running, but a good run from him, 5 levels given. That is something you couldn't really ask for much more on terms of, just the sheer amount of luck that you got from there. So that's it. You've got a couple more people moving forwards. Now you've got Malborn, Groltal, and Gruul's Tag being the ones left on screen. So Got to take that into account. But Kazak's, again, good job for him. You know, he's definitely going to be setting up, maybe not in the top tier, but probably sitting somewhere in the middle tier towards the top of the end of that perspective. Because we got a few other people who were knocked off at level 4. Level 7 was one of them. Level 9 was another. Level 11 and level 12. Stalwrath being the max level currently. Still sitting up at the top, but we're going to see if there's a lead change here soon. Malborn, of course, not quite there yet, nor is Grultal, nor is Grul's Tack, but you know, there's still a chance that could really happen. And if it does happen, well, great, it's good on them. They're able to, you know, actually move forward and make something happen here. So by all accounts, make it happen. You know, keep this entertaining, keep this interesting for us. We want to see what can happen here. And of course, a few other people still trying to get themselves that new level spot. They haven't quite been able to figure that out yet. You know, there's a few other things that they need to do in order to actually get a level. As you can see, most of them levels early on, so we're kind of sitting here waiting for another one to potentially pop up on the rise. So as it stands, you know, Malborn is, of course, sitting here on an official level. He is leading the pack, but, you know, it's not like he's not leading by much. It's not a very heavy lead. In fact, it looks like, to me, Groltal and Grul's Tack both about to turn in a couple quests here, so it may actually shift from Malborn's position to Groltal. In fact, it seems like in this current situation that it may go from 8 to 9. It may shift into Groltal's favor. We're not too sure about this. Oh, wait, Malborn seeming to find a rare here, getting himself maybe a couple more levels here, so he might be able to hold on to it just a little bit longer. We'll see if that actually ends up turning out to be what happens. But as it stands, yeah, it looks like that didn't do it much. Not enough to really push him forward. So again, Groltal taking the lead here in terms of experience and everything. So that's all good and well for him. So again, really good job for him to you know, be going from just out of the gate, you know, dying to absolutely, you know, being a contention player now. It looks like the game has shifted heavily in the bottom tier's favor, and you know, everything's going to be a pyramid. We're going to go lopsided. Our triple tier talks, we kind of briefly talked about how everybody was, you know, in their positions, in their places, and, you know, it was only going to be day one, nothing to worry about. And now we have something completely different to talk about here. It looks like they've got themselves in different spots, so that's really something we're gonna have to take a look at. Look at the snap here, and it looks like Groltal's once again getting really close to leveling here early on, and that's again, it's just really a good position. It's really good spot to be, and, you know, as long as he doesn't take the lead, I think that, you know, level as much as you want to. I mean, to me, the lead is probably the most dangerous spot to be, but hey, if you can make it happen. If you can level up at least to like level 11, go ahead and go for it. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. All right, let's see what we got here. So looks like Malborn's getting himself also really close, so it looks like there's going to be a fight potentially to see who gets to hold on to the lead for the time being. But inevitably, it looks like maybe Groltal will probably get it just because he's got the quest set up and ready to go first, but we don't actually know for sure. So these two might be able to level up about at the same time. We may see Grul's Tack go ahead and get himself another level here, although we doubt it. He's still working on the quest line, it looks like. It's probably going to take him a couple of minutes, and it looks like, is he going to get the level here? No, he's not, so he's got to do a couple more quests. It's a close contention, so it could be either one of them taking the lead in this run right now, at least in terms of who's on screen left. So of course we still got Stalwrath 3 levels ahead, guaranteed. Malborn, of course, is guaranteed level 10 at this moment. Groltal guaranteed 1 level, Grul's Tack guaranteed 1 level. We're not sure what's going to happen from there, so it could entirely be just, you know, a temporary lead shift for Groltal, only for him to lose it out early on. We'll see soon, but right now it's definitely, you know, a tight net. You know, it's really close. There isn't anybody who's too far ahead, too far behind. It's not like we've found with the last episode where Stalwrath was 1 level behind, and then because of the fact that he got lucky, he was able to move forwards and keep it going. So here we go, Grul's Tack going ahead, getting himself level 9 right there. Let's see if he's able to stay alive, and he is. In fact, he gets the bonus roll. Let's see what he gets. 2 levels, so he's guaranteed up to level 11. So he's actually able to get more than Malborn on the guarantee right now. So that's a really interesting thing right there. Sitting up, he might be sitting in 2nd place, maybe in 3rd. Well, third place rather, maybe even second place though. This is something that, you know, we were talking about. Get yourself up to those levels, but you know, I wouldn't suggest maybe passing the leaderboard unless you really have the momentum to keep shifting forwards. Of course, you see up top Melbourne on the screen just killing multiple things at once. It looks like he might be able to get a level out of this soon. Not exactly sure if that's going to be the case. We'll see in a moment here, but he's got to kill this rare, of course. Oh, and we've got a split screen right here. It looks like two people are about to go ahead and get themselves leveled out right there. There's Mal. Oh, they level at the exact same time, so the contention is still going high. But unfortunately, Grohl Tall finds himself out of the situation right there. Only a 4 in a roll of 9, so that's gonna do it for him. But a very good run from him. Again, 6 levels given to him, so he's now sitting up there towards the middle tier. So that's certainly a very good position. It's much better than where he was. That's gonna really work in his favor. And so now you're left with 2 people. Currently have Malborn and Gruelstack kind of sitting here on one another. But thing is, currently Gruelstack has the advantage. He has more levels, or rather, he has more experience, but he also has more levels in terms of just guaranteed. Right, Malborn is guaranteed up to level 10. Currently, Gruelstack's guaranteed up to level 11. So we'll see if there's a potential leader change here. Now we're no longer talking about the fact that, you know, they're just sitting back now. They're not in the back corner anymore. They're now sitting up there. You know, they're 3 levels away from the leader. This is something that maybe in terms of talking about a leadership change, we don't know. This isn't something that we've quite set up yet, but it could potentially happen. It could switch at any moment here. You know, that's the interesting thing about these challenges, that, you know, the leader could be sitting out for even just one turn and everything could just go topsy-turvy and they find themselves out of the spot, which is why the leadership position is just a very volatile spot to be. It's not something that you really want to find yourself in, but yet here are 2 people who might actually be able to take it. We don't know yet, but we'll see soon. Looks like Malborn's going ahead and getting himself ready to go do the meats quest here. Same with oh no, it looks like Gruelstack has decided to hold that off for now, going ahead and getting himself up to a different spot to get another quest done. But either way, both of you probably have to end up doing it soon. It's a lot of experience from those zones, so something you definitely can't miss out on. But I think Gruelstack's trying to go ahead and get that initial boost, or save that initial boost for a little bit later. Meanwhile, Malborn's going to go ahead and try to get it now. Currently, in terms of experience points, Gruelstack, again, a little bit further ahead. Not very much ahead, but a little bit ahead between the 2. So that's really working in his favor at this moment. He's actually, you know, really boosted himself up from being, you know, in the back burner to being a front runner. So that's very good on his part. Of course, Malborn, again, not very far behind either, even though he was 1 level at the head at the start. He's still able to keep a contention going. And both of them are guaranteed levels at this moment. But Malborn's guarantees are starting to run short. Meanwhile, Gruelstack still at least has 2. So we'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of chance that there could be a leader change here. And if that is the case, the question remains, how far do they go? And are they able to really push themselves forward? That way there isn't a potential to be knocked out of the ring early on. And of course, you also have Stahlrath, who he's probably sitting here watching this and is going, well, that you know, that knocks them off of the food chain. That's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. You know, you had that one push forward, and it was a very good one, mind you, but it's not enough to get you forward, enough to get you away from the competition. And now you've got a couple of other people here looking at getting yourself past, and this wasn't the people we were expecting, but all the same, they're there, and now it's going to be a hard situation for you to get out of. So the best thing for Stahlrath at this moment is to hope that both of these guys stop at maybe level 10 and level 11 respectively. That this would be it. This is their end game. This is their goal. We don't know if it's going to be it, but it could change at any point. You know, all this momentum could be shot forward and it just stops. Let's take a look right now what they're looking at here. So Malborn's flying himself back out of Undercity, going ahead and finishing out the experience quest there. Looks like Gruelstack is actually waiting on something. I'm not exactly entirely sure what he's looking for. I guess, oh yeah, there's no mobs in his zone. Okay, so he's probably looking for things to respawn. It's going to slow his time down a little bit for sure there, because, you know, Malborn's now going to be able to get ahead a little bit here. He's going to find himself a few more levels to well, not a few more levels, but he's definitely going to find himself a little bit more of an experience gain and actually get a little bit further ahead than Gruulstak maybe was anticipating here. Then again, neither one can quite look at the other screen, so we don't know what exactly is going on in the minds of the players themselves. We can only speculate, and right now we're probably speculating that Gruulstak was looking to just go ahead and get this stuff out of the way and then tack on the experience at the end, whereas Malborn was switching it up and doing it the other way. Did not quite get him the level 10 that he was looking for, though, although it does get him ahead. So it gives him a little bit more of an experience boost ahead. So currently now Malborn takes the front runner in front of these two. So maybe that was a good right call. We don't actually know. We'll see here soon. But for sure, you know, they're still both in contention right now. Looks like Gruulstak finally gets himself the kill that he needs for the boss. Now he's going around and killing the other things. And Malborn's now back on the field fighting off Dark Hounds, and of course getting that corruption. So again, dot classes are going to be really powerful early on. I think it's going to be a little bit faster for him to actually level up a little bit versus the Gruulstak's experience levels. But then again, who actually knows? You know, Gruulstak's actually killing things really quickly in a melee situation, but it's a very one-on-one kind of deal, whereas, you know, Malborn's getting a lot of dots early on, and that's something that may be very helpful for him. So could go either way. Or, you know, they're still balancing, still fighting one another. It looks like Malborn's actually getting 1 bar away from leveling, so we're probably going to see him get his roll here. And if he's done, then, you know, it just opens the room for Gruulstak to go ahead and take that push forward. We don't actually know what's going to happen yet, but we'll see. Sorry about that. I had to take a little drink of water right there, make sure that we were good and ready to go there. Looks like Gruulstak is getting himself the final kills that he needs to go ahead and get this quest done. Meanwhile, Malborn already getting his Darkhound blood done, and he's going to go kill out some Scarlet Zealots. Very good. You know, nobody likes the Scarlets anyway, so all's good in the hood. And here it is. And so we got to queue out the people getting themselves ready. Let's see what we're dealing with at this moment. Malborn's actually getting really close to leveling, as noted here. We're gonna see if he actually gets it on this run with the Scarlets, or if he's gonna actually have to wait to go back to Brill to get the quest done. It could go either way, as mentioned. Sometimes the big thing to note here is that the experience boost whenever Shadowlands dropped was taken away from the actual gear itself. So the only thing that they're getting out of it is the stat benefits, as well as, you know, not having to always change armor constantly when leveling up. You can instead just rely on the fact that you have solid guaranteed armor to get you through the whole thing. So that's something that he's gonna have to deal with right now, and, you know, he's dealing with it just fine. Like, both of them are. They're able to use it to their advantage, getting a lot of levels or a lot of kills out of it really quickly, and, you know, it speeds up their process getting themselves in order. It looks like Gruulstak might actually be able to get a level here in just a minute if he's able to turn in these 2 quests. He might actually be able to take the lead from Malborn. We'll see in a second, but I doubt it. It looks like Malborn's gonna, well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, the experience boost that he gets from the level will probably push him ahead temporarily. We're gonna see if that actually works out in his favor or not, but you know, it's most certainly looking like Malborn's not quite getting the experience he wants out of it in order to keep moving. It's difficult, you know. I guess since you don't have a lot of, oh, there it is, Malborn's going ahead getting himself level 10 right here. Let's see if he gets the roll, and he gets 1 more level, so he's now guaranteed level 11 as well. Both of them are sitting on contention, tied in the at least in that kind of perspective. So who knows, you know, it's a really tight race between these two. And, you know, like I said, for each level that's getting close, Stalwrath is looking more and more like he's going to be knocked out of the competition early on. And one thing to probably note here is that for Vano, he probably got really lucky. You know, he sat there, got 1 level, and then died. So he was able to stop getting himself before getting up to that top level. So who knows? This might have been the best move for Vano, especially, even though he will probably find himself sitting behind the competition. He, you know, is able to at least keep his progress. That's the big thing. Stalwrath might find himself out of the least right there. And of course, Gruulstak gets to level 10, but of course he's guaranteed to level 11, so he's fine, safe, ready to go. So again, we're back to the kind of stages where, you know, they're sitting again tied on one another. A little bit of the difference here is that Gruulstak is now taking the flight over to Durotar in order to get that extra experience from just doing that quest, And meanwhile, Malborn has a few other things that he can go ahead and do to start pushing forward. So I think the Malborn's going to take the lead here. He's going to probably move it a little bit closer towards his favor at this moment, especially since he's got to turn in this Death Guard quest, and he's got to do a couple of other things here. I think there was a Zubat. I don't know why I said Zubat. I have Pokemon on my mind apparently, but Dust Bats. He's got to kill a few of those in order to get the pelts, and as well, he's got a few quests he can turn in. So like it says, he looks like he's ahead. And Grulstak decides to go ahead and get Giddy up early on, and maybe that's why he waited, so that way he could go ahead and get that level 10 ride mounted right there. The interesting thing about that though is that Malborn has the mount up area in his town. Like, he's able to go to Brill and just get that automatically. So I mean, it's not really a big advantage. It's something that you could for sure look at, but it's not something that will really make a big difference overall, especially since both of them seem to have the chauffeur. So a 60% is kind of almost pointless at this moment until you get up to the 100%. Buying it doesn't honestly seem that great. Oh, and it looks like Grulstak's trying to pick a specialization here. Yes, he does. He picks a Windwalker. So he actually played this smart a little bit. He's deciding to wait for the elevator. So while he's doing that, he's going to go ahead and get himself a nice little specialization. Did Malborn actually pick a spec? It looks like he may have actually picked Affliction. I'm not too sure. I didn't actually check to see if he did. Just looking at his bars here, based off of the Agony, Corruption, and Shadow Bolt, that it looks like he's playing underneath the Affliction game. So these two have now picked their specs and are also going to be on the routes to be able to pick a zone from Chromie if they so choose later on. Of course, they can't do it now. They have to wait until the next episode. But now they're looking at really moving forwards here, and again, tying up with Stalwrath at least. It could be potentially tying up with him. It could be passing him. We don't know what they're going to do just yet. That's the interesting thing about the shock, is that it doesn't quite have a real rule set. Everything could be going well, and then you just get knocked off. And there it is right there. He's about to go ahead and get Giddy up. Malborn is. Look at that right there. He gets it. So I'm not too sure what that does just yet, because mostly, again, they've been using their chauffeurs up until this point. But I guess if you want an aesthetically pleasing mount, there you go. You can finally use that to your advantage instead of having to use the chauffeur at all times. So that's something that you probably can look forward to. Or maybe it's so that way they can sell things. They might have yaks. They may have mammoths. Their mount sets could be completely different. So I'm not sure what it accomplishes, but hey, they both now have the Giddy Up perks. So far be it from me to question their motives here. So currently we have set up Malborn is a little bit more ahead. Grulstak, not too far behind either. Honestly, they're both kind of sitting on top of one another. Although it looks like Malborn's actually getting a couple more levels, or a couple more quests turned in here, so he actually pushes a little bit more ahead of here. Again, that corruption is probably one of the big things that's helping him out here too. He's actually, able to do a few more dots, but in exchange, Grulstak's zone is a little bit more condensed. So really, nobody has a gigantic advantage here, but it's definitely one that is noticeable enough towards Malborn's favor. It looks like he's going to have to wait and get a couple things here. It looks like currently doing the Worgen Infiltrators quest. That's where you need to find any type of quest that you find, or rather any type of Worgen that you can hear or see on the ground, you go ahead and kill. He's also grabbing another quest here, it looks like. And then, of course, Grulstak switching over towards killing water elementals and grabbing toolboxes, as well as saving the dead guys on the ground. We're not dead, but almost dead. Again, they're kind of both waiting to see what they can do. They need to pull up a level in contention, and right now it's looking really tight close. It's like both of them look like they have quite a potential to really move forward here. And there we go. Malborn's getting one kill right there. Another one getting up in a short minute. There it is. Worgen Infiltrators, Corruption right there. Shadow Bolt getting moved in, and just like that, you've got 2 down for him. The other side, Grulstak going ahead and saving one of the fallen comrades. A few other things going on here, but the biggest thing is we're just simply waiting to see who gets the level first and who gets the next roll first, because both of them were guaranteed up to level 11, but now it looks like either one of them could go down in this next movement. So that's something we're definitely going to have to take a look at here and see what they have in store for us. Ah, yes. There we go. Alrighty. Alright, it seems like I've had to talk for quite a bit. Let's see how long the timer has actually been on this. So, according to my estimation, it is 44 minutes into the competition. Now, we weren't expecting anybody to be hitting these 45 minutes, but Stallwrath hit about that time frame. It was actually a little bit closer to an hour, so we probably should have seen this coming. You know, he was able to get that, so too can these two. It was definitely barely possible, but we weren't expecting these two to be the ones to do it. You know, we saw Gruul's Tack and we were like, okay, he's probably going to get level 4, level 5, somewhere along those lines, maybe level 6, but we weren't expecting level 11. That just wasn't in our protocols. Same thing with Malborn. Like, you know, we were expecting a lot of people to be able to get quite a few levels, like 2 or 3, but we weren't expecting 6, 7 levels. And we're interested to see if this is going to be a continuing theme where people just get massive amounts of levels and the challenge ends quicker as a result of that. Or it could be just something along the lines of, okay, well, you know, this was the first couple days. People are still moving out of the gates. You know, the rolls to get those higher fortress rolls are still available early on. It's noted that each level you gain, the fortress rolls statistically become less. So, for instance, if you're rolling at a 3, right, and that 3 is there, you get that 3. That's a 33% chance to get that. 4 would be 25%, 5 would be 20%, and then it keeps going down from there up until, you know, if you're at level 20, it's a 5% chance to get that roll. So it's definitely one of those things that, you know, we're looking at. It's like, okay, this is probably going to be a temporary measure where we see somebody, a few people bursting out of the gate like this, you know, getting themselves established and getting themselves a foothold, and then it kind of slows down from there. Like, leveling will start to slowly decline maybe. We're still thinking that it'll probably be 3 levels per. That's kind of our expectations here. But, you know, we weren't expecting 6. We weren't expecting 7 levels out of these two. And that's what we've got currently. It looks like Gruul's Tack's getting really close to leveling here right now. Malborn, same thing. Oh, and there it is. Gruul's Tack gets the level, and he's out. Ooh, so that's going to be a change in position here. So now Gruul's Tack sitting at 3rd place, or at least guaranteed 3rd place at this moment. Although it looks like now Malborn is left. He's the only one on. So we're going to see how far he goes. He might be able to keep that 3rd place position and put Gruul's Tack in 4th simply because of his position beforehand. So we'll see how that all works out. That's actually going to be what happens, but from there we don't know. It could be a completely different game. We don't actually have a real understanding of what it all is going to be, but it looks like Malborn is going to definitely be able to keep moving forwards. The question is, how much more forwards is he going to get? Is his run done after this one? Looks like he's about to kill Rares here, so we're going to see him get a level right there, and let's see what his roll is like. It is an 8, so he's safe. He gets up to level 12, and now he's going to go ahead and tie it up with Stallwrath and Vano. Currently going to get to level 12. Currently, if he gets up to that point, he's going to be 3rd place still, just based on positioning. But we'll see if it actually works out in his favor and he gets more levels, or he's done after this. There's still a lot of time left for him. I mean, there is no time limit on how long this can go. So he can keep leveling infinitely. Honestly, he could probably get to level 60 tonight if he really wanted to. Although, it wouldn't exactly be something that we'd like to see. I'm having to sit here and talk for 48 minutes. It's that would be a very long experience. Oh boy. What did we get ourselves into, folks? It didn't seem like this was going to be one of those situations, but here we are. It's one of those times. Oh, jeez. Sorry. The thought of just having to sit here and talk for like 5 hours straight just occurred into my mind. Oh man, that would be that would be something. I want to die. All right. Anyway, we're kind of just waiting for him to get something done next, so it's gonna be a little bit before he actually levels. But of course, again, he's gonna be sitting on top of the 2 leaders. Stalwrath is going to be in some serious trouble if he's able to get another level. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So, again, we have a potential leader change right here. We don't know yet, but it's possible. It's something that we cannot take out of account. And if that is the case, the big question for Malborn is going to be, how far does he move? Is he able to get outside of the realms of being overtaken by Vano, for instance? Because again, Vano would still be a danger in this situation. He's level 12. He's not very far behind. In fact, yeah, again, he's tied up with the leader right now. So that's something that you have to really take into account when you're doing this. Or is he able to move forwards? So my philosophy whenever I've looked at this is, if you're going to take the lead, take it quickly, and also take it very far away. So don't stutter in the zone that you're in, and also make sure that if you're gonna fight, you fight hard and you keep going. Like, you've got to get a lot of levels out of it, and you need to make sure that you have enough to where there isn't a shadow of a doubt that you're the leader, right? You don't want 1 level behind. You want 5 levels behind, 6 levels behind, 7 levels behind. Those are the numbers you want. So that way you're not in a position to lose it in a, just 1 round, right? Now, that being noted, Malborn was level 4 when he started this. And so, even being 8 levels ahead may still not save you, but it's giving you a much better guarantee than it would have been beforehand if you had just simply said, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to leave you 1 level behind. That's you're much safer off 8 levels, because it's less likely for someone to get that many levels off than you were if you were to say get, just 1. So Stalwrath, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, again, he's probably done. That's really what it's going to kind of come down to. If he's not done, then he's going to be having the coattails of 3 people sitting on top of him right now. And of course, you have a few other people, Groltal, Inara, not too far behind. We've got 2 at level 9. So your lead is in a very difficult state. You clenched it in the first day, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. The second day clearly is showing that there is a lot more leveling going on for everybody. So this is something we're gonna have to take into account for sure. And looks like Malborn's gonna go ahead and scare off some tadpoles, get a little bit of the kitties scared. Nope, don't say it like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Oh man, looks like the Vilefin tadpoles are gonna go ahead and get frightened off here. He's got 4 out of 12. Get it! There it is. Good job. Good job, Malborn. You get to win the lead by scaring off tadpoles. Who would have thought? Oh, jeez. Level 5, and that's 6. Alright, we got a couple more here. But it looks like, again, Malborn's about to get another level here. We'll see if he gets to keep going or if he stops anytime soon. We've got time. Again, there is no limit. So he can keep going as long as he wants to. There's not a stop. These episodes could end up being very long like this, just because, again, we're not going to stop them. Like, if they are able to get that fortress roll, or if they're able to get the mundane roll, then they're safe to go. Devastation is the only way to actually stop someone from keeping themselves going forward. So currently Malborn has been very fortuitous and very mundane, as it were, but it's still something that he's able to use. So by all accounts, he can keep going as long as he wants to, and it looks like he is doing just that. It's probably taking him a little bit of time. I'm not sure what he's thinking right now. Maybe perhaps he's thinking, oh yeah, there are other people who are probably moving ahead of me or behind me, or maybe he's thinking he's in a good position. There's several different ways to kind of look at this, and honestly, if I were in his shoes, I'd be thinking, all right, I'm in it, like I'm in the race. And I wasn't sitting behind like I was last time. I was only at level 4 beforehand, and that's really one of those situations. And there it is, level 12, and he gets the fortress roll, and he gets a 4 out of it, so he's guaranteed level 16. And that, my friends, is going to be the downfall of Stalwrath. He's going to find himself out of the competition and resetting back down to level 3. What an unfortunate situation for Mr. Stallrath. Yikes, that's... and that that also means I get to sit here and go over this for a little while longer. That's gonna be crazy. Jeez. All right, Malborn, congrats. Good job, Malborn. Good. I'm proud of you, man. But you know something, that just means I get to sit here and watch you level up by yourself for a little while. So, congratulations to Malborn, guaranteed up to level 16 here. Very interesting situation for him and for Stallrath as well. So again, the question now becomes, how far can he push this lead? Currently, guaranteed level 16. That means that he's got 4 levels ahead. He's able to take that, no problem. That's actually a really good spot to be. If you're a leader, you want to get at least 5 though. So I would say that maybe he needs to get at least 18. I would say 18, 19, somewhere along those lines would probably be better for him. That way, if, you know, for instance, Vano does get another level off, it's not something that he has to worry about. But again, currently guaranteeing up to level 16 is actually something you really couldn't ask for much more for. Like this, like, well, of course you could have asked for level 17, but 16 is still a very good spot to be. And you know, with how quickly Malborn's killing everything, how much he's able to actually kill in one sitting, he may actually find himself not only in the category of you know, luck, but in the category of speed as well. Because again, I mean, just look at this right now. Look at the way he's just grabbing 4 or 5 mobs and just killing them all at once. It's one of those situations where, you know, affliction warlocks, especially when they're lower level, is really a powerful situation. You see right there, he's able to kill off 3, 4, 5 mobs at a time. That is something that you really have to take into account when it comes to Malborn. He's not going to have to sit and waver behind. The only thing that would really stop him, I think, in terms of you know, him losing his lead is pure luck. You know, speed wise, he's killing things quick, and he's not stopping. He's not slowing down. It's not like this is just kind of like a temporary thing. Now later on, when we get towards the level, it's like 30s, 40s, things may start to balance out a little bit more, and Malborn may find that his favor in terms of being able to kill multiple things starts to fall apart a little bit. But at this moment, he's not having to worry about that. Instead, he can just sit there, dot multiple things, hit Malefic Rupture rather, and that's really all he needs to do, and it's working. It's working in his favor. He's got his imp. He's able to get off the Fellhammer and everything else. He's got it. He's got it all set up and squared away. And currently he's about to turn in a couple more quests here. It looks like he may get himself closer to level 13. Of course, he's guaranteed level 16, so we're just going to kind of watch him and see what he does. So, with that being noted, we get a drink of water, because, again, we're going to be here for a little while. In fact, I almost thought about, you know, just getting something else and seeing what I should do in order to, you know, keep this moving. It's one of those situations where we're really just trying to see how Malborn kind of just develops and how quickly he can actually get to these spots. So one thing to note here is that for him, right, level 4, 8 levels. Currently we're about an hour in. So an hour divided by 8, which is 60 divided by 8. That would be, trying to think, let me think here. So 40 is 5. So that's about 7. No, that's about, no, that's, no, that's about 7.5 actually. 7.5. So currently, for about every 7.5 minutes is at the rate he's currently leveled, which is an interesting accomplishment, to say the least. Of course, it's not quite that, because he didn't get to level 12 just yet, but he is getting really close. So we're thinking that about the hour mark, he's going to go ahead and get that level 12. He's not quite there. You know, we're looking at close to 59 minutes. So it's going to be a little bit over an hour before he gets to level 12. But all the same, it's... Oh, wait, no. He is already level 12. What am I thinking? I'm sorry. I didn't see the bonus there. It looks like he's already there. So, yeah, in fact, 7.5 minutes per level is not bad. It's definitely an on-pace movement. And, you know, like I said, he's killing things fairly quickly. He's not having to worry about a whole lot of slowing down, because again, the way the Affliction Warlocks play is that you have dots, and then once you set up all your dots, you spam Malefic Rupture basically, and that's how he's been able to do it. And so he's haven't had a need to slow down, and I don't see why he would want to. At this point, he's got a very good sense of what he needs to be doing, and he's just going for it. Like, this is what you need to do as a leader. You need to go for it. Just get out there. Get as far away from your competition as possible. That way you're safe. That way you're secure. You can play the lead all you want to at that point. You're not having to worry about somebody behind you the whole time. This is it. This is where you want to be. And currently Malborn's sitting on it. And again, guaranteed to level 16. That's crazy. That's insane. He's actually able to really move forward in this contest, and that is one of the biggest things right now for him, is just to keep going. If he's able to get to level 20, for instance, that's an even greater jump. That's going to give him more to work with. It's go time, basically. He's going to go ahead and say, look, this might be a competition of us trying to get to level 60 first, but I'm going to make sure that I have the lead, and that's going to be the end of it. And if he's able to hold it the whole time, we may not really see a competition, because he's got enough on him to keep it going. So we're going to see how he ends up playing out here. He's going to go ahead and finish up the last of the Agamemnon family saga in the... I almost said Silver Pine Forest, but he actually is in Tirisfal Glade. So we're going to see him finish that up right here and move on. Of course, all of his new fancy schmancy mounts he now got at level 10 is coming out. So you see, you got a wolf right there. He had a Plain Strider earlier. It's a few different things. Maybe he just wanted to spice it up a little bit for all of us to see just what kind of fancy man this individual is. He has some of the fanciest staves and pants, I guess. I'm not quite sure what exactly. I still don't quite get why he needed to go ahead and get that level 60 at the time. And it looks like he's giving a wave to that for a second. He's just been standing there for the past 10 minutes. Maybe she's just been watching him like, what have you been doing, buddy? Whatever. Either way, level 13, he's got 3 more levels to go before he has to roll again. So we're going to see how it all plays out. He's getting actually a little bit closer towards the Silver Pine. I believe he has the Bulwark Saga to finish up, and then from there he goes to Silver Pine Forest. So he's actually looking at looking really good right now for him to keep on pace as well. Again, 13 levels, and we're about an hour into in. So with that being noted, it's basically 62 divided by 9. Yeah, 62 divided by 9. So he's getting at about a 6.8 minute interval on levels, which far be it from me to stop him from doing such. He's got it going. Like I said, this is what you want to do. Lead. If you take a lead, you take it big, and he's exactly doing just that. So we currently have him set up there. The few other competitions, few other competitors that we also have noted here is that again, Stalwrath is out, but Vano is going to be at least 4 levels behind. We have Gruul's Tack, who's currently sitting at level 11, so he's going to be 5 levels. So right now, it's looking very heavily in Malborn's favor. It's only day 2, but things can honestly change from here. But we'll see how it all works out in the end. But yeah, this is something that you really want to do. Oh wow! Look at that! Look at him. It's really one of those interesting situations where you just kind of have to watch and see what really happens with him. I mean, it's just a guaranteed spot. I mean, honestly, it's kind of one of those things that it's like, all right, well, he's not having to play by the rules at this moment. He's just kind of doing his leveling, and it's very chillax leveling, just kind of something that you have to relax and sit back and watch. And honestly, that's just kind of all there is to it. He's having a good time. Just kind of moving forwards. Nobody else is able to sit on the screen and watch. Everybody else just kind of having to watch him, move forwards in the challenge. So that's just kind of how it is. We got a few other people not quite ready to accept that they've lost just yet. Stalwrath probably sitting there going, well, I have to go ahead and restart again. That's going to be unfortunate for him. Good thing about that, though, is that for him, it's still not very far in the competition. At most, he's going to be behind 13 levels. So that's, I mean, that's a big jump. But when you're talking about the perspective of the lower levels, it's not as bad as it seems. Really, you could kind of just acknowledge the fact that it could be worse. But yeah, that's kind of one of those situations that Stallrath is going to find himself in. And the interesting is, will he have a bad out of the gate situation, kind of like Ghoulstack and Groltall, but then kind of jump back up into it? We'll see. I mean, there's several opportunities and several differences that could happen and make Stallrath, maybe for all we know, become the leader again the next episode. That's one of the interesting things about this, is that it could change at any moment. And you know, right now we've of course got the guarantee that Malborn is moving forward. He's going to be the front runner for this episode, but there is no guarantee he's going to stay here the next episode. Again, Vano could move forward, Rulestack can move forward. Hell, we could even have Mai Lang, who died back at level 4, by the way, come in and move forward as well. So of course we have a few different individuals who have had different delays. Currently we've had Mai Lang, of course, fall off the railings here. She actually fell off really early, so 4 levels in, right about there. And of course we had a couple of other things happening here. Malborn's still getting himself a few more levels, and you know, it's one of those situations that you just you look at it and you know, okay, well, even though I fell behind, it's only day 2. Like, there's no setup guarantee that it's going to be a really bad situation for anybody. So that's just something you got to take a look at, really. Of course, you know, like I said, Malborn's still getting himself a few more levels here. It's fine. He's got it all set up. There's not really a whole lot to say. I mean, regarding his stature and his current situation, you know, we don't have a lot. Like, it's really kind of one of those things that he's just, you know, he's pushing forward, and that's all there is to it. Like, you know, it kind of is almost interesting in the sense that it takes away a little bit of that intense position that we had beforehand, where, you know, Malborn was kind of sitting in the back. He was at level 4, and now all of a sudden he's guaranteed to move forwards, and there's not really more to say about that note. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about the other competitors while we're at it here. So again, you know, Mai Lang was one of the other ones who had fallen behind. She didn't get any levels on this guarantee right here. Another one being let me look here. Marienda only gets up to level 7. Same thing with Longhail. Those two only getting a couple levels. Longhail gets 3, but Marienda only gets 2. The next one being up, again, Groltall gets himself up a few more levels. And that's the interesting thing, is that even though he gets 6 levels right here, he still falls behind short because of everybody else moving forward as well. So, you know, for instance, Kazax gets up to level 9 as well. That makes him, you know, push forward a little bit in front of Groltall, just due to the fact that their positionings were different. You know, in the beginning, Groltall was, of course, number 1 in the seed, and then he kind of fell down to number 9. And then, even though both of them moved up at the same time, Kazax was ahead by the day 1 standard, so day 2 he moves forward. Of course, after that you have Grulstak, who hit level 9, and again Inara also hitting level 9, but only with 1 level. Again, because of the seeding position, Grulstak finds himself in 4th place, Inara in 3rd. Then 2nd place you have set up with, you know, Vano. He's got himself in the situation of, you know, getting close to actually losing his position, but then falling short here in a moment. And then, of course, Stallrath, 1st place, no longer doing so. He's now going to find himself in last. So, again, Malborn, really, it just kind of comes down to the fact that he's got to figure out just how far he can actually go before, you know, you can probably be comfortable and say, all right, this is a good spot. And right now, 16 is a pretty good spot to be. It's not something that, you know, a lot of people are going to be able to catch on to as quickly. Again, the fortress rolls start to decrease in value a little bit here. In fact, I can give you exact numbers right here. So, for instance, for a at this point, right, for somebody like Vano to get the fortress rolls, which is the max roll, right? So if he rolls out of 12 and he gets a 12, so that way he can get extra levels, that would be an 8.3% chance. For someone like Grulstak, it would be a 1 out of 11 chance. So that would be a 9% chance, exactly. With him, with people like Groltall currently gets about 11.1% chance. So, you know, like I said, it increases a little bit, but it drops into the single digits the second you get up past basically level 10. So, you know, you got 10% chance there, and it just kind of slowly drops off from there. So, having that less chance to get there, this is going to really affect the way that Malborn can be caught up with, because it's not like beforehand where, you know, Stalwrath was only sitting at level 12, everybody else was still able to get high fortress rolls into double digits. It's now heading towards single digits, albeit high single digits like 9%, 8%, but it's still something that is going to be a little bit more difficult to do. And with each level that Malborn gains, if he's able to keep going after this, it's going to become more and more difficult, because again, you're going to ask to try to get multiple fortress rolls if he's able to get himself outside of the first range. We don't know how far he's going to get, but it's definitely going to be one of those situations that you look at and you go, okay, well, what is it going to take for me to catch back up with the leader? And you know, because that's the thing too, is that although you don't want to be in the leader spot, you don't want to be too far behind them either, right? You want to be sitting on top of them for the most part. You want to be kind of almost like a threat, right? You want to be 2 levels behind, 1 level behind, somewhere along those lines. That way when you get to like level 57, level 58, level 59, you're right there. Like, you're already ready to go. You can just pass them at that last second and then take the victory at that point. And, you know, that's something that you really need to take into account. One thing we should note here is that if somebody gets to level 60, you know, we're not going to have anybody reset or anything. There isn't going to be one person that sits at level 3 at the end, because that wouldn't be fair. You know, we want them to be sat at the stats that they were when they, you know, maybe got overtaken at that point, you know. But up until this section, that's, you know, that's really what you want to do. I think, in my opinion, you want to sit there at second place, but not be so far behind that you can't catch back up. And in this case, you're going to find Malborn's going to take that spot where he's going to push forwards and have it to where it's going to be extremely difficult to catch back up. And until he's able to, you know, really get that kind of perspective, and, you know, there's nobody going to be able to stop him. You know, the fortress rolls haven't really been in favor of anybody else except for Malborn. He got multiple fortress rolls in this run alone. Like, he got the one at level 12, then he got the one back at, what was it, level 6, right? So he got 2 in this one alone, and that's extremely lucky. Sorry, combine it with the water. But yeah, combine that with the speed. It just, you know, it's a very, like, a dual threat kind of deal, right? The big things here are speed, luck, and you know, those are the big ones. So speed and luck are the big ones. Luck is definitely going to play a lot of factors into this, but speed is also one of those things you got to take a look at. And, you know, he's been very quick about getting all these levels off. And, you know, like I said, 6 minutes, or a 6.8 minute time frame for each level he's gotten. So, you know, you can't really ask for much more. That's a very good level per base right now, right? That's a very big base. It might not seem like it, you know, especially since we've been sitting here talking for about an hour and 12 minutes at this moment, but it definitely is something to take a look at. And honestly, it's been probably one of those situations where you go, all right, well, you know, you're leveling fast, your luck is on your side, you have a pretty good chance to win. And I know it's only day 2, but he's putting himself in a good position to move forwards. But we'll see as it goes. Either way, like I said, he's guaranteed at least 3 more levels currently, which is, you know, again, that's going to give him enough of a lead ahead. A few other things that we're going to take a note here is that, especially in triple tier talks, this is going to be one of those situations where there's going to be so much to talk about regarding Malborn, but just so little bit of time to do it. So we're trying to go ahead and, you know, kind of talk a little bit about the others, make sure that people know what's up, setting up everything, and getting ready for those actual talks when we get to them, which, again, we'll have those set up for the next 3 days. So if you want to take a look at that, well, like I said, we'll have the bottom tier out tomorrow, we will have the middle tier out the day afterwards, and then 2 days from now we'll have the top tier, which will involve Malborn, Ghoulstack, and Malborn, Ghoulstack, and Vano, I believe, will be the top 3. And then, of course, we'll have the 4th one set up for them. that's actually something else that we should talk about too. So, with the release of Malborn getting this far ahead, right? The other competitors cannot come in to level 8, which we're talking about Yundel and Mandy. Those two were set at level 8 by default, so they weren't allowed to come in at all. But with this release, right, with him getting this far ahead, this is going to guarantee that those two now enter the fray, and that's going to be an entirely different situation. We're now going to find that, you know, they're going to be sitting right in the smack middle of a large competition of people. There's going to be folks all over the place kind of putting themselves into this big bracket. So now we're definitely going to have a fourth tier that we're going to introduce, that we're going to call the elite tier, which is going to be the top 3. So the top 3 will be the elite tier. Top tier will be 4 through 6. Middle tier will be 7 through 9, and then the bottom tier will be 10 through 12. So that's something we're going to be taking a look at here in day 3. We're going to have a couple more people introduced into the mix here. So of course, like I said, Death Knights, Demon Hunters now getting introduced because of Malborn's movement here. They weren't introduced because of Stalwrath, due to the fact that he only got 4 levels ahead, and it's noted that you needed at least 5. That way there was no guaranteed takeover right away, which I think that was probably a very smart move to do, to make sure that, you know, it wasn't something that we looked at and we went, okay, somebody can just take over at the beginning and that'd be the end of it. Of course, it could have brought in a little bit more of a challenge for the other players to, you know, kind of bounce off and work in that favor, but we didn't think it would be very fair to do that. So, you know, Malborn is finding himself moving ahead, so he's going to go ahead and introduce the other players into the mix, and that's going to throw things off a little bit more, especially with that big 12 camera angle that we're going to have there soon. I'm going to be interested to see how that all works out. It looks like to me that Malborn's about to go kill a rare over there. There's a big giant spider waiting for him in the background once he gets this one down, and that might be his ticket to level 14. So, you know, again, guaranteed 2 more levels after this. When he gets there, we're gonna see if he actually gets it right here. It looks like Malborn versus the spider, and it's working out. Yeah, that wasn't even a competition. There it is, level 14. So he's guaranteed that one and a couple more levels. So let's see how he keeps going. It's working out for him for sure. Oh, he's doing a little bit of a loop-de-loop and pull, and the detonating new alley. Yeah, thanks guys. I don't. I have a very. Oh, geez, it's been a very long time. All right, we're looking at 1 minute and 17 minutes, which 1 hour 17 minutes rather, which is totaling up to about 60 plus 17, so that's about 77. So we're gonna do that 77, and we're gonna go ahead and see how many levels he's currently gotten. 10. So about 7.7 minutes. He's actually gone back up a little bit here, but of course that was kind of expected. His level per minute ratio was going to be a little bit lower with each level that he gets upwards, just based off the fact that it takes more experience to get each level. So that's something we have to take into account here. He's still working his way through little by little, but you know, that's definitely something we have all set up, dressed, and ready to go for him. So there we go. Malborn's gonna go ahead and move on there. and he's getting close to finishing up the entire zone, by the way. So his whole section that he has, he's basically been able to complete the entirety of Tears Fall Glades. Now that we think about it, like he's not been behind anymore. He's kind of now moved forward. He's basically taken over the entirety of the section. I'm curious to see how far he goes into Silverpine as he gets strangled by 3 or 4 different mobs going after him here. Oh, and he stops here for a second. And one of the interesting things I've noted about some of these quest zones too is that Lillian Voss has actually become a little bit more volatile, at least in terms of dying. You know, beforehand in Cataclysm, she wasn't quite somebody that would die beforehand. But when I've leveled through these zones a couple times, I've found that Lillian Voss actually almost dies a little bit more, just due to the fact that she's gotten kind of nerfed a little bit. So let's see if that actually affects Malborn's ability to actually do this quest. Not that it matters. She's currently sitting up top and has nobody else to take him out. So that's one of those situations where it's like, okay, well, he's definitely in a tight contention. but at least not right now. He's got it safe. He's sound. And look, Lillian Voss is about to die here. It looks like she... Nope, she's still alive. Still alive by a little bit. That's gonna work for her favor. She's got a little bit of a pack. Lillian Voss keeping herself in position. What a good NPC follower right there. Look at that. She's alive quite well. Maybe they can be able to get it. It looks like Malborn's trying to play a little bit of a trickery here, get around these mobs as quick as possible. I don't blame him. They don't really give that much experience, especially since Lillian Voss seems to just kind of steal it all. Oh, look at that. Well, that's not looking good. And she gets herself killed off, I think. Right there. No, she's still alive. Still alive. Look at that. 1%. Oh my goodness. She is... Wow. Okay. Maybe I've underestimated just how powerful Lillian Voss actually is. Wait, where is she though? Where'd she go? Uh-oh. Well, looks like... Okay, well. She's gone. Well, that's gonna be a little bit of a tough one to be able to complete this quest, aren't you? Oh, well, now Malborn's just confused. He doesn't know what to do next. He's like sitting over there going, I was like, come on, come back. Why'd you disappear on me? Come on, come back. I've got things to do. I got bills to pay. I got people to see. It's like, you know, I wanted to get out of this quest as soon as possible, and there she is. He's just sitting there waiting for her to come back, and he's not there. She's not anywhere nearby. I wonder what he's gonna do. Is he gonna try to kill them? Let's see. No, he's just standing there, looking at him innocently, wondering, hey, you guys gonna attack me? What's going on? All right, man. Well, I don't know what the plan is here. I honestly couldn't tell you what he's gonna be able to do in this situation. But oh well. Wait, is he going up? Okay, he's going up the Tears Fall Glades. All right. See what he does here. Scarlet Scouts. Yeah, it was very riveting, very interesting. All right, so he's back down to the Scarlet Watch. But oh, and there's Lillian. She respawns. Okay, I guess just leaving the zone and coming back in. Maybe that was the plan. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it looks like Lillian Voss is safe and ready to go. All right, so we can continue the quest line. Congratulations, to Malborn for having to waste like 2 or 3 minutes in order to actually do that. Well, there you go. Either way, there it is. Lillian Voss finally finding herself back into it. Yeah, it's a nice little family reunion there for Malborn. He's just chilling out there in the background, just kind of like waiting for this quest to be over. But yeah, he's probably sitting there freaking out a little bit, going, all right, well, I don't know what to do here. Like I just lost about like 2 or 3 minutes there trying to reset this girl. Again, he won't know that the lead is up until things come out. So for all we know, it could be a very difficult situation for him. But yeah, there it is. And of course, he's gonna have to run around and catch back all those maps. They may have respawned at this point. We don't know. I'm surprised he didn't go back around the mountains where he went before. It seemed like a very good idea, at least in terms of getting out of this zone. But what do I know? I don't usually use that mountain zone, and I didn't even think about resetting. But it worked out for him, so more power to him. I just finished my water bottle. And so there it is right there. And it looks like Malborn has went ahead and finished that up. So he's going to get close to the Silver Pine Saga coming to a close. Still got a little bit more time on his rest. But yeah, that's definitely going to hurt his time frame there. He was doing much better than he was beforehand. He was already losing time gaps before. And now he's going to lose even more with that. And that's probably going to affect him in some way. Don't know how much it actually will in terms of time, but again, like I said, currently he doesn't have anybody to really deal with, so it's not like he really has to worry about too much. He doesn't quite know that the other people are set off just yet, but we don't know. Maybe that was a moment of freak out. He was like, I can't do the quest, but as it turns out, that's that's just part of it. Like, you know, sometimes some of these quests, when they got really nerfed like that, it just kind of ended up being that some of the NPCs were nerfed as well. And Lillian Voss just happens to be one of those NPCs that, despite one-shotting things, can still die to tons of Crusaders, despite the fact that she death grips in like 20 of them, and essentially says, "Hey, you know, you should help me kill these guys." And that's, I mean, as long as you can do it, that's fine. I'll help you out. But if you die, I can't do the quest. Well, in this case, it doesn't work out. It's not worrisome for Malborn. He managed to figure it out, teleport out and back into the zone. So all worked out for him. He's about to go ahead and get the Bulwark quest done, and he's going to be moving on here to Silver Pine here, I believe, soon. Unless he decides to go to a different zone. Totally able to do that if he wants to, but you know, if you're going for speed here, you want to make sure that you have that all set up and ready to go. So with that being noted, oh, look at this. Alright, he's about to do bigger and better things, it looks like. And yep, that's going to basically finish up the area of Tear's Fall Glades. So of course we're going to see him run over to Silver Pine Forest, try to get those last couple of levels, and we'll see from there whether or not he's able to keep going. For sure, I think he's maybe able to get level 15 here. I can't see his experience bar. I'm not, well, no, that's not true. I can see an experience bar, but I can't see how many levels he actually gets out of it. So it could be either way or either or, but who actually knows? This could be one of those situations where he may be able to just have to do one level in Silver Pine Forest and then move on if he wants to, or if he wants to stay there, he can do that too. It's one of those situations where, honestly, Silver Pine Forest is probably one of those better zones to actually quest in, but we'll see if he thinks so or not based off of how quickly he levels in there. So about to go ahead and get himself the last finish up right here, and then move on from that spot to run down to Silver Pine Forest on his nice little what is that? Wait, what mount is that he has? Isn't it that the, oh, it's a Vile Fiend. Okay, wait, yeah, it's the Vile Fiend from I think Argus, right? Something along those lines. I'm not too sure, but either way, it's one of those things that, you know, he has. I guess he wanted to show off to everybody. That's why he went ahead and was like, yeah, you know what? I got it. So that's gonna be great and all. So either way, it's looking like he's got a couple more things going on here. Malborn running himself down towards Silver Pine Forest and getting himself one more level. Probably will have to be once he gets there. So yeah, we're still guaranteeing him at least one more level in this situation, but you know, he's got it really set up. He's in probably the best position a leader could be in right now. You know, he's got luck on his side, speed. It's both working out in his favor. We're gonna see his levels probably go up per minute here. We're about an hour and 27 in, it looks like, so it seems like he is actually getting a little bit closer to maybe 8 or 9 minutes per level now. I'm not too sure. Well, we're gonna see in a minute once the time frame comes up, or I'll have something set up for you based off of that, based off of what we see there. So give it a time and we'll see in a moment here. He's still running down the cliff here. Silver Pine Forest, the new zone to be. This zone honestly is probably one of my favorite. Oh, he even he's probably like, wait, well, I wasn't expecting to get this far. Let me go watch a video or something. That little moment of just staring off into a wall like that, that's great. You can't ask for anything better. Thank you for that moment of entertainment. Thanks. Oh, there it is. Wait, is he able to get the level? No, he is not. He has to stand there and watch the dadgum Warchief Garrosh situation cutscene, and he's not even able to get the level yet. He's running around getting a couple of things done right now. It looks like probably ran to get in the flight path. Now he's got to just chill out and watch Garrosh Hellscream berate Sylvanas Windrunner. Shadowlands, by the way, very interesting. Garrosh did nothing wrong according to this kind of situation right here. Look at that. Wow, it's hard to think, you know, really getting this much luck in a round it's crazy. How many levels has he gotten? Almost 11. You know, he's almost there, but guaranteed 12 levels. at this moment. That's insane. That's crazy that he's able to just get that much in one sitting. And you know, overall, getting himself up from level 3 to level 14 in 2 days, that's a good jump. Like I said, we were expecting 3 levels per. He ended up getting himself not just 3 levels per, but basically he's sitting currently at you know, he's guaranteed level 16, so that's, you know, minus 13. Sorry, we were taking a look at something in here, but yeah, you basically 6 levels on one day, 7 levels on another. That's actually a really good standing and show point for him. So you know, if he keeps going like this, you know, this challenge will be over in 10 days, or at least that's kind of the statistic we're looking at. Maybe a little bit less than that, but this is honestly probably one of the best things that you look at. Ooh, look at that. And Garrosh Hellscream is not happy about that situation. He is very interesting. One of those things that we noted, that in this particular cutscene, they actually cut out a couple of things that we have we noticed once more. But of course, we won't point that out. We'll let you figure out what those things are. But either way, Malborn's about to get himself another level here once the cutscene is over. I maybe should take back the fact that perhaps not Sylvanas, but Silverpine Forest is one of those quick zones. I really think it probably actually is one of those slower spots to be in. It seems like it's not working out quite in his favor. And yep. Especially since it just keeps going on and on. It's very slow. Now it's slowing him down. It's probably slowing down his leveling process, and we're gonna see that here in a minute. Like, you know, we're getting up to about 1 hour and 30 minutes, 1 hour 31 minutes now. So that's about 91 minutes into the situation currently. That's gonna take a look at. That's gonna really kind of hamper his situation. It's been about 20 minutes since he's leveled, so. Really, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Silverpine Forest isn't a spot to really, you know, get that fast leveling track out of. But when you're trying to keep everything going, there you go, level 15. So he's guaranteed at least one more level before he goes off. So again, we're gonna go ahead and get that that calculator going there. So we're gonna go ahead and get it noted here. So he's currently sitting at, let's see what the time frame is, 1 hour and 32 minutes. We're getting really close to it. So that's. He actually leveled at 1 hour and 31, so that's going to be 91 minutes. And then we're going to go ahead and divide that by 11 at this moment. So he gets a level about every 8.2 minutes. So yeah, that's a jump. That went from 7.2 to about 8.2. So he's got a full extra minute on the leveling here, which probably puts him in a very tight situation. Well, yeah, no, it was 7.7 actually. So. I mean, actually, it's not as big of a jump as we thought. So we initially thought it was going to be 7. So it was 7.7 initially, and now it's 8.2. So but when you consider that, that's, now that I think about it, 7.7 doesn't quite work out. And either way, that's about the time frame. But you got to take into account those are based off seconds. Or, you know, converting seconds into, or actually converting the hour and time frames into a number that is based off of mathematical, whatever. Sorry, it's been the fact that we've been surprisingly getting onto this for about an hour and a half now, that we've just kind of been like, oh wow, things have been, you know, increasing and stuff. But basically, that is a big time jump from the 7.7 to 8.2. If you actually converted it into a time metric, you would see that that's a pretty big difference. So that's something you got to take into account here. But either way, again, looking at the situation, Malborn is given one more level here, and we'll see if he's actually able to continue after this. And some good old-fashioned killing going back to this one. It looks like he finds a rare here, Gorefang, one of the one sitting off to the side. One thing to note here is that there's not a lot of people leveling in this zone, so it seems like he's able to pick up every single rare that comes by, and he is taking full advantage of it, as well as taking full advantage of the fact that he's a warlock, dotting everything and killing it down really quickly. Look at that, one more there. Malefic Rupture is about to probably take it into effect here any minute now. If not, then, you know, he certainly hasn't even seemed to need it. Like, the dots are just killing everything as quickly as possible. Oh, in fact, look at that. Look at that. She's basically taking a look at it and going, okay, well, You know, I can dot everything, and everything dies quickly, so I may as well just dot it and move on. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's doing kind of like a quick dot move strategy, and it's working out for him, and it's doing quite a favor for him. He's getting much more quicker levels now, just due to the fact that he's just able to do that instead of having to sit there and watch cutscenes. So, you know, again, in terms of leveling, I would say that this was the right move to go. Just go to Silverfine Forest, even though you had a little bit of a slow thing in the beginning, but you know, it certainly isn't the fastest zone to move through by any means. You can't skip some of the cutscenes here. You have to kind of just sit back and watch it happen. I do know that there's especially one cutscene in this area that we'll probably get to soon, depending on how Malborn does it, but basically, you know, I have to sit there in a shelf and watch something happen, and you can't skip that cutscene. Like, if you try, then it'll basically say the quest is incomplete. So really, it's one of those zones where it's like, all right, well, you know, what do I do? And you know, it slows you down a little bit. So it's one of those kind of deals that maybe this isn't the exact best zone to be, but who knows? It could be good or bad. Again, he doesn't know the fact that he's basically ahead on the situation. He won't know until after this airs. So it's probably one of those situations where he's freaking out a little bit. He's losing time, but at the same time, you know, luck was still on his side. So inevitably, he's not needing to really worry about losing all that time, considering everything that's happened up until this point. But again, he doesn't know that, so he's just trying to level as quick as possible, dotting a lot of things. You could see that he was actually getting a little bit more towards just trying to get as much aggro as he can, even though he's level 15. The dotting strategy starts to fade out a little bit at these later levels. He's still trying to make sure that he can get as much kills as possible, which is a good thing for him. You know, you really want to do that. He's getting really close to level 16 here, and he might be able to get it if he kills all these Murlocs here. I don't know how much experience this actually drops, but he's about to go give it a little bit of a whoosh. So, drops on to the Dawning Isles. Let's see what he gets on the flight. So, essentially, we're getting close towards the end of his lucky roll streak here. So, let's see if he's able to get one more. If he's able to get multiple, it could be any way. It could go any way right now, but this could be dependent on how much he gets. So again, if he's able to get at least one more, he'll probably be safe, at least for one level. If he's not, then he may find himself very well in trouble, because again, even though fortress rolls for Vano, for instance, is only like around 9%, it's still something that you really have to take into account here. It looks like he's about to go ahead and get a couple of things here. Look at that Vile Fins killing off a couple of them. Really, this is probably, again, a little bit more time consuming to just have to fly around and do all this stuff, and especially since it seems like he's not exactly killing everything that he can right away. Although, you know, not a lot of the Murlocs are also clustered up. There isn't much working in his favor on that front. So it looks like he's got it pat down. And he's going as quickly as he can. It's just the zone itself is actually slowing him down a little bit. And there he goes. And that's going to be it. Yep, it returns him to the Forsaken High Command, where he may actually finally get that level 16. We may finally see what he actually has to offer here. So, with that being noted, we're probably gonna look at it. If it's not here, it'll likely be in a couple of quests from now. But either way, we're gonna finally get that level 16, that guaranteed 4 levels that he got will finally diminish, and we'll see just what is in behind the shell. So, is the shot going to find him favor, or is it finally going to knock Malborn off of his horse, or in this case, Mud Beast? We'll see in a moment, and he is going to turn this in. Let's see what he gets right here. Yes, he gets level 16. Is the roll good? It is. So he's able to stay up and get into level 17. So that's going to be an even bigger advantage for him. Vano's going to have to work very hard to make sure he gets himself up into that spot. Grulstak also having to make sure he gets himself a good leveling advantage here. So yeah, really for Malborn, this is going to be one of the greatest streaks we have. 13 levels. 13. That's crazy for one episode. That is insane. We didn't expect this, right? We were looking at 3 levels at max, right? We were thinking, all right, this challenge is going to be over in, we'd say, 10, well, no, it was 20 days. Instead, what we get one guy moving up 13 levels in one day. That's going to tell us that if he can keep doing that kind of stuff, this challenge is going to be over in no time. It's going to take much less than 20 days. It'll take 10 days. Maybe not even that. We're not, of course, this is not sure, guaranteed, but one thing you got to take a note in here is that even though the fortress rolls are not something that can be really moved up, you still have the opportunity to move forward via the regular mundane rolls, and those are always going to be about 50%. You know, they can be a little bit higher because it's based off of getting the divided by 2 roll or higher. So like, for instance, if you're like level 16 and you get an 8, then that's considered a successful roll and you can move forward with that one. So it's going to be a little bit higher than 50%, but you know, you can get a lot of those, you know, as long as you get that 50% chance, you can keep moving in that direction. So for all we know, we could have somebody level up 13 times doing just that alone. We don't actually know how this is all going to pan out, but that's a very big possibility. And if that is the case, if that ends up being what Malborn does here, you know, like I said, this challenge could be over in 10 days. It's one of those situations we didn't think about. Oh man, it looks like there's a little bit of a bug here, unfortunately, but that's fine. But either way, you know, that's something we didn't really know. I'm sorry. It's just all the they can fly through the wall. James, this game's so broken. I'm sorry. I meant to continue to. All right. And anyway, what I was trying to say was that. What I was trying to say was that jeez. All right, that's good enough for me. I'm all right, but as I don't even remember what I was gonna say. But yeah, basically, if somebody's able to get good rolls like that, they can keep going. They can, you know, end this challenge much quicker than we expected. And maybe there should have been something along those lines of like a level cap or a time cap, something along those lines to ensure that this wasn't the case. But for now, there wasn't one. It just happened to be this way. And you know, you see that this is this episode alone, currently an hour and 42 minutes in, and Malborn's still going, and he still has a chance to keep going too. That's the interesting part. We're seeing this right now. He has the opportunity to really push this and open up the levels. Like I said, he can go up all the way to level 20, go up to level 40, level 60. He can keep going as much as he wants to. So this is one of those situations where the levels could end up being heavily, you know, skewed to a point where this challenge will be over in 10 days. Do we think that's going to be what happens? Do we think that, you know, it's going to be 10 days? We don't really think so. And the whole reason, or at least I don't think so. And the whole reason for that is just simply the fact that it would be very difficult to do it in that kind of time, right? You would need to be extremely lucky every single day. And let's be real here, this was only one day. And Malborn, you know, despite being extremely lucky on this one day, getting 13 levels in this one day, I doubt you could do that multiple times, and it's just not something that you're going to see too often. So I really don't expect this to be the normal. I think this is the exception, this is the rule, and we're still going to have at least a 20-day LevelMania challenge. So with that being noted, we don't actually know. It could entirely go off into a completely different direction. Again, we could be finished in 10 days. This whole thing is just kind of off. You know, we weren't expecting this, but this is what happens, and now we're gonna have to kind of deal with the aftermath. So we'll see. We shall see. But you know, as you can see here, Malborn's getting himself closer to being done with level 17, about halfway done, and he's got to get a couple more quests down there, and we'll see if he actually ends up getting to level 18. If he's able to get to level 18, then I don't know if there's going to be anybody who can really catch up to him, you know, at least in one episode. It's going to maybe take him a couple. Malborn will need to have a couple of times where he just kind of falls off the wagon. Currently, you know, 2 days, he's leveled on both days. All granted, he only leveled once in the previous day. So, you know, I guess you almost can't really count it, because like this kind of tier is completely different than what he had. He went from level 3 to level 4, and then from level 4 to level 17. That's a ginormous jump. That can't be something that's just normal. Like, if I wouldn't believe it. Like, I wouldn't believe that this is just going to be the norm now. That this is going to be like, oh yeah, everybody's going to just hit 13 levels, 14 levels at a time. That's just not how this is going to work, right? The statistics on that would be ridiculous, right? Of course, the fortress rolls at the lower levels are very much more possible with each passing time, but with each passing level, you know, the more you get, the less likely this fortress roll will be, and you know, you're gonna have to rely more on that 50% chance. So I just don't think that this is gonna, you know, be the standard. This is gonna be just a one-off thing kind of deal. You know, you're not gonna see this kind of big leveling again. That's just gonna be the end of it. He's not, you know, Malborn's probably gonna hold the cake and just be the guy to eat it, but afterwards you're not gonna see a whole lot more from it. So again, hour 45 minutes in, almost hour 46 now, we're seeing him kind of almost get to the closing point here, at least in terms of level 16. He's got a couple more boxes he needs to get here, but I'm thinking that with these 3 quests, he's going to be able to level up for sure. The question is, once he gets that level, what happens? Does he get to level 18? Does he get one more push out of it, or is he finished? We don't know. We're gonna definitely be monitoring this, watching it go down. I'm sure the others at this point are probably taking a look and going, okay, well, now we really got a heavy hand situation here. Again, he's gonna be 5 levels ahead of Anno, 6 levels ahead of Gruelstack, and then the next ones are level 9, so that's gonna be a good old-fashioned 8 levels behind. So that's a nice jump for you to have to do. It's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. As you can see, he jumped up a lot in just this one round, but you know, it's definitely going to be outside of the norm to get in a kind of situation like this again. And it looks like he's finally going to go ahead and turn in these quests. Let's see what happens right here. So the first quest gets turned in, and he doesn't get that level up there. One more quest, doesn't get it there still, and he's got one more here, so it's looking like he's gonna get the level. Let's see what happens, and he gets the level, and he rolls. He's out. So Malborn finishes up with 14 levels. No, 13 levels, excuse me. 13 levels. That's crazy. Ridiculous. Not something we were expecting at all, but there it is. He's the cop. He's the king. And with that, Stalwrath will have to find himself a new spot to be, fortunately. But that's going to pretty much wrap it up here for the Camixs LevelMania. We're going to go ahead and briefly give you a talk over everybody's position, making sure that you have all the stats you want to take a look at, as well as letting you know who we're going to be talking about in which tier section. So with that being noted, first off, let's talk about the day 2 average. So 3.9 levels was what we got here. Overall, 3.35 levels. This is much higher than where we thought would be initially, like I said, but a lot of that came from Malborn getting those levels. It's going to be a little bit off of a tier. You notice there's no 10th place here because Stalwrath is out, so instead we're going to switch over to My Lang sitting at 9th place and kind of rounding out a bottom tier. In 8th place, Longhale going from level 4 to level 7, so he gets 3 levels here, but is still unfortunately in the bottom because he didn't level near as much as the others in this spot. Of course, Marienda getting 7th place, only leveling twice, but she gets up here due to the fact that Longhale was behind her beforehand, so there she is sitting at the 7th spot. In 6th place, Groltal moving up to 6 levels to level 9, so that's a really good position, although still sitting in the middle tier somewhere in there. Camixs, of course, getting 5 levels as well, moving up to level 9, but the thing about him is he's ahead due to the fact that Groltal was behind him beforehand. So Camixs currently 5th place. 4th place, Anara getting 1 level But again, ahead of the other two beforehand, so she gets to sit here in the 4th place spot. Next up, we have Ghouls Tack at level 11, getting up 8 levels and getting the 3rd place spot. So very good job on Ghouls Tack's part to do so right there. In 2nd place, we have Vano, only moving up 1 level, but it's a crucial level to, you know, at least keep himself in the competition. So well done for Vano here. And then finally, you have Malborn, 13 levels up to level 17. Very good job for him. You know, that's going to be very difficult for anybody to catch back up with. But that's what I'm going to pretty much cover up here. Again, if you want to see more detailed analysis on our characters, we want you to come in and join us on the Triple Tier Talks in Shadowlands. And of course, comment, like, subscribe, and be notified of our videos. You know, we're going to have several things coming out every single day for you to be able to watch. So feel free to take a look over that. You know, we'd be happy to have you back here to listen to us. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of LevelMania.